What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So is the 2020 Mustang still a good car for 2026? Let's go over it real quick. Let's talk about the pros and the cons, my ownership with the car. But yeah, I bought this car back in 2020 and I pretty much bought it with the intention to fix it up and sell it. It was a car bought from the auction, so it had a minor minimal damage. Front bumper was a little bit damaged, so was the rear bumper and some of the rims. I went ahead and replaced everything. Yeah, and pretty much the overall goal was to go ahead and fix it up and sell it, but I decided to keep it. So I also have a 2015 Mustang 5.0 GT, so I'm going to do a little bit of comparisons with this one and that one, as this is a 2.3 turbocharged 4-cylinder. So yeah, the reason I bought it was because it was relatively cheap. It was the only one in the market, as I pretty much comped it out to see how much money I was gonna make on this one, and it was around 10 G's at the time. Bought it for $8,000 and I am $15,000 all in, but at that time I think I could have sold it for maybe $25,000, as there was no 2020, you know, 6-speed manual Ecoboost on the market at that time. But yeah, so I decided to keep it. I bought it because I have a 5.0, so I know how the car drives, how it performs. So if it's still worth it, I mean, I say yes. I think any car is still worth it regarding the years, as long as the car works, as long as, you know, it has what you need as far as like an entertainment system, you know, power windows. I don't know anybody that would want to roll their windows still in 2026, but, you know, there's a lot of vintage cars still out there. And, you know, that's the beautiful thing about them, is that every car is a little bit different. But this car is going to be on the newer side, as it is a 2020 and it has the S550 body style. So yeah, for the horsepower, you know, 310 horsepower, it's going to be pretty quick. Like my 5.0 is 435 horsepower, so it is not close to that, but it is a quick car. And if you are on a budget, this is a great car because you pretty much get the S550 body style that everybody loves. Same time, you can also make it a V8 killer. I know now there is a lot of 4-cylinder cars out there that are putting up against V8 cars. So, you know, that's another reason why the car is worth it in my take, as it's more affordable. You still get 310 horsepower and you do get the newer body styles. So this front lip that you see here, the splitter, this is aftermarket. I got it from American Muscle. And I also have spacers on the rear and the front. I also have a Bridgestone on the rear and a Toyo in the front. As far as like the tires go, that's why it gives a little bit more of a sporty look. And the spacers give it more of that aggressive stance. I also went ahead and bought a diffuser for the rear And I was gonna get new muffler tips, but I decided not to. I was gonna keep it kind of stock because, like I said, I was just gonna sell it. Also went ahead and tinted the windows, so it's a pretty presentable car. So yeah, I'm gonna compare this also to a 2011 BMW that I also have. This car's a lot faster than that car, and it feels fun with the manual. So like I said, if you can get a manual and you're okay with, you know, traffic and all that. So again, with the manual, it kind of does suck with the traffic, but like I said, I'm used to it. I have a 6-speed manual 5.0 GT. That clutch is a lot more harder and stiff than this one. I haven't really drove any other V6 or 4-cylinder manual cars, but the transmission compared to this one, to the 5.0, is a lot more nimble. The 5.0 just feels more firm as a whole unit. So yeah, this car's fun on manual mode. First gear, second gear towards the top, when you let the turbocharge kind of, you know, spool up a little bit and you can floor it, it definitely puts you back on the seat. Yeah, it definitely gives you a good whiplash. So yeah, pretty much the pros on this car is that the manual, you know, it's a lot fun. You got a newer body style, the S550, you know, like I said, this is minimal mods on it, and the stance and the look of it changes a lot just from doing the spacers, the front lip, you know, tinting the windows. All right, so as far as costs go, the car is relatively affordable. I pay anywhere from insurance, sometimes from $200 to $275 at its most, depending on what coverages you have. Also, your driving record is going to determine you know, what kind of rate you get and all that good stuff. The most money I've spent on this car is on tires, as like I said, I do go a little bit more on the sporty side. If I get an all-season tire, it'll probably look less sporty, but the tire will probably last me longer, as these tires are a little bit more on the hard side. Visibility on the car is great. Like I said, the drivability is perfect. I have a 5.0 and I have no complaints with that car. This car is just as nice, hence it doesn't have the big V8, but you can make it just as fast, but it won't sound like the V8, but it's a great starter car for sure. All right, so let's see. So who this car is for, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's gonna be for somebody that does not need to use the back seats for sure. The back seats are not really usable. Also for people that do not want a V8 but still want a stylish, modern muscle car, as this is a S550. It's a beautiful body style when these cars first came out. It's not a V8, but it looks like one. Can make it as fast as one, but it just won't sound like it. But it's a great platform. But yeah, those are pretty much my takes, guys. At the end of the day, I think any car will do good. This is a 2020 Ford Mustang. But yeah, guys, hope you guys like it. Hit that like, subscribe button.